Capacity is a measurement of volume. More specifically, it refers to the amount of fluid that a container can hold. A small container will have a small volume, and a big container will have a large volume. For example, the volume of water in a cup is much smaller than the volume of water in a big bucket. To measure volume, we need a system of units. Remember, we need a system of units, not just one unit, so that both small and large volumes can be measured easily. We would all agree that it's not a good idea to measure the volume of water in a lake using cups. We need a big unit to measure that much water. Similarly, the unit used to measure the water in a lake should not be the same unit used to measure the volume of cold medicine that you drink. Like mass and distance, there are two common systems of units for measuring volume. In the United States, the base unit for capacity for measuring volume is the fluid ounce. Larger units are defined then by multiples of 2 and 8. Let's take a look. We've got the basic measurement of 1 fluid ounce. 8 fluid ounces is equal to 1 cup. 1 pint equals 2 cups. A quart, or 1 quart, equals 2 pints. And 1/2 gallon equals 2 quarts. And then 1 gallon equals 2 half gallons. These are the measurements used, the units of measure used to measure volume in the United States. The other more commonly used system to measure volume is the metric system. The metric system has many units to measure volume. We'll start with the smallest, which is the milliliter, and then centiliter, deciliter, liter, decaliter, hectoliter, and kiloliter. The base unit of capacity is the liter. And you can see that all the units here used to measure volume have the word liter in them or as a suffix. At the end of each of these measurements, the word liter is included in every one of them. We in the United States spell liter L-I-T-E-R, but in other countries you'll see it written L-I-T-R-E, and it's pronounced the same and it means the same. Both of them are correct. Each of these measurements also has an abbreviated version or a shorter name for it. For milliliter, you'll see ml. For centiliter, you'll see CL. For deciliter, DL. And for liter, you'll simply see an L, sometimes written also as a capital L. For decaliter, DCL. Hectoliter, HL. And kiloliter, KL. Be careful for the deciliter and decaliter that you use the correct abbreviated or short version of the name. Since they both start with a D and they both have liter in them, we can't use DL for both of them. And so for decaliter, we use DCL. All of these measurements are related to one another by multiples of 10. And so what we see here is that starting with the smallest, we have the milliliter. Well, 10 milliliters is equal to a centiliter. And as we go down, we can see that each of the measurements is a multiple of 10 times the immediate smaller measurement. So liter is 10 deciliters. A decaliter is 10 liters. A hectoliter is 10 decaliters. And a kiloliter is equal to 10 hectoliters. The most popular of the units of measure for volume, for measuring volume, units of capacity, the most commonly used measurements that you will see will be the milliliter, and most commonly you'll see them and use them and have them in problems using the abbreviated version or the shorter version of the names. So most commonly you'll see milliliter, centiliter, liter, and kiloliter. You won't see the deciliter, deciliter, and hectoliter used as much in common everyday use. So we want to make sure that we use the smaller units to measure things with smaller volumes, and that we use the larger units to measure larger volumes. We use various tools to measure volume in our daily life. In cooking, we use measuring cups and measuring spoons. In science labs, we use tools called beakers, graduated cylinders, and pipettes to measure fluids.